Hello, my name's Rob. I'm part of the clergy team at Portishead Church of England. Welcome to our thought for this week. As we've been going into our church schools leading worship in this part of term, we've been using some pieces of art by an Ethiopian artist called Nebiyu Assefa. I love using pieces of art when I talk about the Christian faith, and I love using pieces of art from the world church. Such a wonderful reminder that the church is not just about the West, but it permeates and spreads through all the world. And it's so easy for us to forget that there is, and has for a very long time been, a church in Ethiopia. But I love Assefa's pictures. They tell the story of this part of the Christian story so beautifully. And this week, when I've been in Trinity School and St. Peter's School, I've been using a picture called The Lie, which tells the story of Peter's denial of Jesus. And so I'm going to read that to you and leave you with a chance to have a look at the picture as I do so. This is from Mark chapter 14 and reading from verse 66. While Peter was below in the courtyard, one of the servant girls of the high priest came by. When she saw Peter warming himself, she stared at him and said, "You also were with Jesus, the man from Nazareth." But he denied it, saying, "I do not know or understand what you're talking about." And he went out into the forecourt. Then the cock crowed. And the servant girl, on seeing him, began again to say to the bystanders, "This man is one of them." But again he denied it. Then, after a little while, the bystanders again said to Peter, "Certainly you are one of them, for you are a Galilean." But he began to curse, and he swore an oath, "I do not know this man you're talking about." At that moment the cock crowed for the second time. Then Peter remembered that Jesus had said to him, "Before the cock crows twice, you will deny me 3 times." And he broke down and wept. Poor Peter. Poor Peter. And Assefa's picture tells this kind of tension so beautifully in the ways in which he uses the cold blues around the edge of the picture and the warm yellow. Peter wants to be there by the fire. He wants to be there with the other people there, but he wants to be anonymous. He wants to blend in. And there's a feeling that if he owns up to being a friend of Jesus, he has to leave the warmth of the fire. He has to go back out into the cold, the isolation. It was so easy for him to say when he was surrounded by his friends that he would never deny Jesus. And yet here in this place on his own, it's a very, very different picture. The temptation to say, "I just don't know him," is so, so easy. He wants to be there with these other people by the fire. And I can really relate to that. I can feel the coldness that fear and anxiety brings. That desire to just fit in, for nobody to notice me. And increasingly, being a part of the church can feel quite isolating. We are set apart from the rest of society. It seems a strange thing to do, to profess to be a follower of Jesus, just as it was for Peter. And so we're reluctant to stand up and say, "This is who I am. This is what I believe. This matters to me." Certainly reluctant to share our faith in any way. And that was the dilemma that faced Peter. The temptation to say, "No, nothing to do with me. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just one of you guys." And yet the story of Jesus's suffering and death really forces us to stand up. It confronts us with some really stark truths. This is Jesus who came as God, lived among us, suffered and died for us. And he asks just that we say, "Yes, this is who I am. This matters to me as it mattered to Peter." And of course, for Peter, he did deny Jesus. And I think he carried that weight right the way through until after Jesus' resurrection, when he met Jesus on the beach and Jesus if you remember, asks him 3 times if he loves him. And he hears Jesus' words of forgiveness. Jesus invites us to follow him. He invites us to stand up and say, this is who I am. But he also is there forgiving us if and indeed when we fail. And so I wonder what this might mean for you. What might it mean for you to say, this is who I am? I'm willing in those difficult moments to say, yes, I'm a follower of Jesus. I am, like Peter, his friend. I am a part of the church. This matters to me. Jesus offers that invitation. It's an invitation of love to follow him, an invitation of love to say, this defines who I am, my friendship with Jesus himself. But he says too, do you know, when you mess up, I will forgive you and restore you as I restored Peter. And so I hope that's a message that you can carry with you as we make this journey through Lent and as Easter itself approaches. May God bless you.